Good morning, everyone. I am Mark Wilson, President of Western Dakota Tech. Thank you for joining for this important event. The project has been long coming. It is a pleasure to see it done and the doors open. Dakota Hall in the County City Public Library East would not have been possible without all the individuals that are here today. More importantly, give thanks and gratitude to our students. They're a reason we built Dakota Hall. They are the reason we are here today, and they are a reason why we all work very, very hard for their future. Western Dakota Tech's mission is to prepare for the workforce. We do that by creating and building programs. We have been very successful in the past in placing our graduates, and we are looking very forward to adding and building great quality programs in the future. With the new lab space and the enhanced services to the students, Dakota Hall represents what is best about Western Dakota Tech, an unwavering commitment to providing for our students with what they need to succeed. Dakota Hall represents an exciting future for Western Dakota Tech. The excitement generated by the project will fuel the growth of programs, enrollment, and capacity to serve more students. At this time, I want to again say thank you for joining us today, being here today, and I would like to introduce the new, I shouldn't say new, and honoring to introduce Greta Chapman, who is the director of the Rapid City Public Library and who is a key partnership in this event.
Thanks, Mark. I want to thank all of you for taking time to come out and celebrate this unique partnership of a 21st century library that really is about innovative community space, technology at your fingertips, and library services beyond the walls that we'll need to service in this global information economy. A couple of short remarks, of which there are three things that I want to note in these kinds of projects: support, patience, and perseverance. First of all, I'd like to take a personal privilege and just acknowledge my husband's support through this, which, by the way, in 2 hours he graduates with his Bachelor's of Science from Nursing from South Dakota State University. We like to kind of do things all in one day. I also want to recognize Mark Wilson, who is a no-nonsense guy that certainly has a good sense of humor, that has stayed with me step to step when it comes to the passion for libraries, sometimes toe-to-toe, and it has been a true honor to work with him. It is the county commissioners that set this plan in motion when they put forward their $1 million investment, and through the support of Western Dakota Tech, the Rapid City School District, the City Council, the Mayor, the library trustees, the Friends of the Library, and very importantly the staff, that this unique partnership of all your governments has accomplished what many have been unable to do, and that is cooperation. That's what's best to be able to deliver government services. I would describe that as a good marriage, of which I have a few years to identify for that. The second piece is patience, and some of you may know this is not necessarily my strong suit. However, because I know that deficiency, I also know that you have to have empathy, respect, and over-communicating so that you can break down those walls and find yourself in the company of many talented people. And certainly that has been the case with this project. And finally, perseverance. I come from a long line of Germans. I'm sure that's also no mystery as well. And they have a heritage of a strong work ethic from dairy farming and logging. The day's work was your survival. It is no different with taxpayers' expectations to remember it is the public's money. doing your best through adversity and remembering that public service is an honor and a privilege will build any bridge. This project is the highlight of a career because it's an opportunity to serve with a 21st century library that maximizes the taxpayers' dollars through a unique partnership of all levels of local government to serve the citizens of Pennington County, the City of Rapid City, and the students and the faculty of WDT, whether they're in the library or whether they're accessing services through cell phones. Thank you for the privilege. I'd like to introduce next Dr. Shaw, Secretary of Education.
It's a real honor to be here today and really an exciting opportunity to acknowledge what a great facility this is, and I'm sure that all of you would agree. You know, for Western South Dakota, I'm very privileged that we have this type of institute that we can provide for students of not just Western South Dakota, but statewide. So with that, you know, there's a lot of people here today to acknowledge this, but a lot of people who have really put hard work into this, and so I'm excited and honored to be here. You know, this is an endeavor that takes a lot of people and has really showed what partnerships can do. It uniquely shows what can be done to maximize resources and to provide a top quality facility, and I had the opportunity to have a real quick tour before we began today. The partnership with the Public Library, Pennington County, and Western Dakota Technical Institute serves as a great example of what can be done with open minds and also determination. A project of this sort requires strong leadership, and this leadership without support is like trying to make bricks without enough straw. You know, you have reinforced your ideas, your plans, your strategic partnerships, your alliances, your supportive audiences, and that's evident here today with all of you here, as well as those who have put your hard work into this. While the collaborative nature of this project will be invisible to a lot of the visitors, whether it's students or children, or whether it's students of Western Dakota Technical Institute, and whether they're from the county, or whether they're from the city, or whether they're from the student body, it stands as a model. It truly can be done when people put their minds to doing a great project together. So with that, I congratulate you, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity, and I have to tell you very quickly what I did last night. I was Googling the history of ribbon cutting, and trust me, there's really nothing out there about it except for this. It is the opportunity to break loose and say, we're ready and we're open for business. So I congratulate you and look forward to being open for business in Western Dakota Technical Institute and the new library. So with that, I have the honor and privilege of introducing Dr. Richard Gowan, who is a member of the State Board of Education. Dr. Gowan.
Ladies and gentlemen, there have been excellent words that speak to what we're here for today. The facility is magnificent, and those of you who have been here in South Dakota, in Western South Dakota, for years have seen the change in Western Dakota. Nancy and I have the privilege of being with residents of this community for 35 years, and to see what has grown here. It's a celebration of not only this physical facility, which in itself is magnificent, but to think about all of you in this room and those who are not in the room. And over the years, working about bringing together education for South Dakota, and in particular in this community. It has taken a partnership of individuals who are willing to set aside their interest and bring it together for the better interest of the community. So my thought this morning is I just wanted to have you focus upon what we so much like in our ability as people to work together, particularly when it comes to using the resources we share, the governance that it takes to bring this together. And as I look around the room, I think of those times when each of us have had interactions, and it has led to what we have here today. So I want to ask you to just celebrate in your mind what it has been worth to each of you who have been involved in making this happen, and to be so comfortable, to so, in respect, see the baby grow. When Western Dakota moved from up in Sturgis and started down here as it came together, it was a seed, it was a dream, it was just a start. It was a baby. But as you watched that grow, it became so important to not only this community, but to our state, and to the whole education system, K-12, higher education, all of us. It brought in the technical side that we so much need to be able to grow our economy, to grow our community. And as that evolved, The partnership grew to the point where, and I now speak to the county, you all began to see this as a place that could really be part of your dream to provide library services and community services. And I say that because I've communicated with you over the years about working on that. And when this came together and it gelled, it was a magnificent day when you were ready to put up your $1 million to make it work. And from the State Board of Education, we were very committed to making the changes in Western Dakota Tech. But to have this now be able to be a part of the broad community, thank you to the county, to the commissioners, and to the individuals who've been involved in that. But on a broader sense now, let's think in terms of what we're really about. And it's the students who come here, because they, in fact, are our future. Today, we're able to enable that future for so many more people. The programs, the opportunities that can be supported by the educational base of this library are impressive. And truly the ability that when we think of the world we live in, it's not so many books that you put on the shelves. It's the access to the information. And in the world we live in, the ability to communicate electronically, by people, by ideas. This facility enables that, and so I really congratulate you again for all that we have been able to do. And sometimes it's just important to take a few moments and look backwards. I was involved in the space program, and when you're in the middle of Pacific Ocean getting ready to pick up an astronaut and an astronaut team, you look around. There are no mountains. You don't know where the Western South Dakota is. But what you do know, if you turn around and you look back at the weight that the aircraft carrier is making, you know we are. You know we are journeying. So look back and just celebrate how far we've come. And in that process, look ahead. Because this facility changes life for all of us. Thank you. And attest to that, I almost forgot it, excuse me. I introduce the chairman, the president of the Board of Education of Rapid City. Cheryl, may I introduce you, please? Cheryl Kirkby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here today. It truly has been a journey that has been very, very worthwhile, and there are many of you here today that I would love to thank. The vision of the previous county commissioners, my husband being one of those, who had the thoughts of bringing this shared community project together. And a person who is not here with us today that I worked closely with in beginning this process, and that's Jim Kierstead. So we thank him and his vision and his leadership and his family for being here and sharing in this. And it's fitting that we have on our entrance the foundation and the thanks that we have for our volunteers that are part of all of this. But we're so lucky here in Rapid City that we have something that is rich that we see in projects all throughout, and that is wisdom and vision and leadership. And we are fortunate to have many of those leaders in our audience and our legislators. We thank you for being here and sharing in this with us today. This project is not unlike anything that happens here in Rapid City. This is the first project of its kind where there has been a shared project between city, county, school board, and higher education coming together and sharing the resources of our taxpayers here in the city. And we should applaud ourselves for that great, great use of resources and vision that there is that's coming forward to do this. There are still piles of dirt in the back, and we plan on moving those as we move Western Dakota forward in other projects that we will have that move forward. And I know that the person that I'm introducing next may have had the same feelings that I did when I joined the Board of Education over 12 years ago, in that what are we doing governing Western Dakota Tech? Well, it is a strong, important governance structure that we believe in, with local control and doing what is best for our community here in Rapid City and the surrounding area. The Board of Education is the governing body for that, and I would like to introduce one of my members of the Board of Education, Jim Hansen, but our board is very deeply committed to doing what is best for Western Dakota Tech, and we take that responsibility very seriously and appreciate the opportunity to serve you. And I would like to introduce Jim Hansen from our Board of Education.
We really appreciate this. Being on the Board of Education has been a tremendous eye-opener, and I will tell you that as my start of my second year. But also being on the committee of the facilities, of seeing this building that is not just a building, but a place for people to make a home, for people to move forward and to work and to learn. But all that takes the staff. That all takes everybody from the higher education all the way down to put a commitment in. And I will tell you that it is really, truly amazing to see all the entities that got together to make this happen. And to thank Pennington County Commissioners for their foresight with this, to thank the city of Rapid City, and to thank Greta and all the hard work that they've done. And to enjoy, from the school board perspective, to be involved in an education process, to make it a place of learning where our students, no matter what age, come through these doors and be able to work together. This is huge. This is fiscally responsible for your money. It is the taxpayers' money, no matter how you divide it between the city, state, and school. It's all our money. But what you have here is a collective group that saw the wisdom to make this what it is today. Today's the first day. Today is like Mr. Gowan said, to step back in time. What was it like years ago when it was up in Sturgis, to move back forward? Now, here we are today in a facility, and this is just the first part. This is step one. We have this, we have these organizations working together, and we're going to move this in a positive direction. We have great leadership and staff here at Western Dakota. We have great leadership with the city, and the school board. You have our support, and we will make this and continue to be the best technical institute in the state. And I have no doubts about that with President Wilson at the lead. Thank you for your time. I get the privilege to honor Ms. Nancy Charlton for the County Commissioner.
Well, good morning, and thank you, everyone, for coming. It indeed is a privilege as a county commissioner to carry on a vision of former commissioners Mark Kirkby and Jim Kerstead. One of the things that is important, of course, if you're an elected official, is being fiscally responsible. And certainly that is what has happened in this project. We have honored the value of taxpayer dollars effectively. And while it's important to do that, to create and use the money the best that we can, this is especially important because what we did, even though yes, we were fiscally responsible, is we created a real win in this project. And for the county, that's a really big, important thing. We are committed to providing library services for our constituency. And this is particularly important just because this library is located on the east side of Rapid City. What that does is it gives a more accessible location to people who live in Rapid Valley, Box Elder, immediately to the east of Rapid City. But another thing it does, we have a lot of folks who live out in the rural areas who come to town and they spend their money for groceries, they buy equipment, they buy clothing, all kinds of things. And often when they come to town, they need to bring a pickup and a trailer. And what a wonderful thing for them to have access to library services out here because they actually have a place to park. And sometimes people forget that that's important. And so I would sincerely urge all of the folks who live out in the country as well as in the city to come and try this library. It is so beautiful. I want to thank everyone that's been a part of this collaborative effort. You know, it's not easy because everybody always has different ideas. But the important thing is that we reached a goal, and because we had different ideas, we combined and we talked and we did all kinds of negotiating with those ideas, and we came up with such a wonderful facility, better than if anybody had just done it by themselves. So I want to thank everyone for that. I do want to take just a minute, and since I get to introduce him, I'll do that now. I want to thank Jay Alderman, who is our Deputy State's Attorney. He has represented the county throughout this whole process and been to countless meetings and had countless hours involved in this. So I want to thank Jay, and I get to introduce Jay as the next speaker.
Thank you, Nancy, and thanks everyone for being here today. It's a marvelous celebration of a great project that's come to fruition over the course of many, many months of hard work, and thank you to Greta and Mark for helping put all this on today. You know, the speakers before me have done a marvelous job of pointing out all the wonderful ways in which the folks came together to make this happen, and what it means to the students of this beautiful campus, and what it means to the public and Pennington County at large. It's something really to be proud of, and you know, before coming up here, I was thinking, what was the most unique aspect of this for me? And I think I remember being back and being here in the president's office quite a while ago, that initial meeting where a number of folks came together from different government agencies and entities, as has been described here today. And I remember it was kind of nervous laughter because everyone around the table said, you know, this can't be done. There's no way you can bring all these different people with different ideas, serving different constituencies, and bring them together for a project that could be this large and this wonderful. And before the end of the meeting, we said, now, having known that and having some history in that, let's just get it done. Let's do it. And some of you may know it's kind of a humorous joke amongst a lot of people that, you know, there's no 20-page, this is the lawyer talking, there's no 20-page contract that was drawn up. There's no massive amount of paperwork that was drawn up to make this happen. A one-page MOU that I think got framed, if I remember right, and was a prideful item of everybody involved. And it just said, this is something we need to do in this community. We all have a need and a desire, and we serve a segment of the populace that will benefit from this. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And that's exactly what happened, and it's working for government. I think the primary thing for me is to be able to look at the public, all of you, and say, I really think we did something positive. We did something frugal and good with your money. We're proud of it. You can be proud of it, and it's going to serve all of us well into the future. So thank you. It was a marvelous experience to have. I really benefited from it. It was a privilege. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mike Howard.
He is so important. The particular thing that struck my mind was the fireplace, of course, but the height of the books where they're stored at. Everybody can see around in there. Whoever came up with that idea, I congratulate you. Very, very good foresight. With that, I thank you for that, and I get to introduce the next speaker, who is the chairman of the Rapid City Public Library, and that is Jim Olson. Thank you.
Good morning. You know, Dr. Gowan made some eloquent remarks this morning about the looking back and thinking about where everything has come. And Dr. Gowan, I couldn't agree with you more. I was on the Board of Education back when we were bringing the VOTEC school together here in Rapid City.
What a change, what a dynamic and wonderful change for this campus to enjoy this wonderful new facility. And what a great effort has been made continually by the Board of Education for the Rapid City area schools, by the South Dakota, the state of South Dakota and its Board of Education, and the tireless effort that has gone on over all these years to put together this wonderful facility out here. And now to have it come to the point where Pennington County makes this wonderful investment and the city of Rapid City supports the efforts of the Library Board of Trustees, and we come together in a facility that is not only a great new education facility, but a 21st century library facility that gives resources not only to the students, but to the community. You know, the mission of the Board of Trustees of the Rapid City Public Library is to anticipate needs, to build relationships and communities, and to connect community to a global world. We think that this is just one small step in that process of meeting those goals. We're excited about it. We're very grateful to have come to this point where this wonderful facility is opening, and we look forward to having it used by the students, by the community, both the city and the county, and we're really excited to have a spot out here on this side of town to provide library services in a way that I think everyone is going to be excited to use them. I want to say a special thanks to Mark Wilson for helping get this all finalized, and I know that everybody's worked hard to get to this point. I want to say thanks to the design team who got those messages when it started that everybody wanted to work together, and when they went around looking, they discovered that there weren't any examples. And so they dug in and did a job for us too, and that included Forefront Design, Skyline Engineering, and Albertson Engineering. And I want to thank the contractor, Jim Skull, and his construction company for all of the help in putting this together. This has been a community effort. It's everybody has had one goal in mind, to create this facility and to make it all work together to enhance the Rapid City community and the Pennington County community and the students of Western Dakota VOTEC. So thank you very much. It's my privilege to welcome back Mark Wilson, and we'll try to get this over with, and you can all have a cup of coffee and some cookies and walk through the library with us.
Okay, if I could have all of our speakers come up front, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. We promise not to cut it right away, so if there is time for pictures, please smile nice. And thank you everybody for coming today. When we are done doing this. There we go. Let's go. Okay, ready, step forward. Jay. Okay. No. Everybody looking at me, please. You count to 3, Steve. I will you will do it. All right, so I'll go 3, 2, 1, cut. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, cut.
I wish we had set this one up for bracketing.